Arrested and charged, the governor of Illinois is taken into custody accused of corruption and soliciting bribes. Zoonotic diseases. Find out what they are and where the risks are highest for contracting them. And a solar-powered potty? Discover how one American city is hoping to cash in on these remarkable restrooms. First up today, a serious scandal in the Illinois State House. Governor Rod Blagojevich is facing federal corruption charges, and part of it has to do with finding a replacement for President-elect Barack Obama in the U.S. Senate. Now, after the election, we discussed how the governor is the only one who can fill that empty Senate seat. But the way he allegedly went about it is what's getting Blagojevich in hot water. Sandra Endo has the details.
There's nothing but sunshine hanging over me.
But now a dark cloud hangs over Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich. Federal prosecutors allege he was trying to sell Barack Obama's former Senate seat to the highest bidder. Tuesday, they charged him and his chief of staff, John Harris, with corruption, solicitation of bribery, and conspiracy of mail and wire fraud.
The conduct would make Lincoln roll over in his grave.
Prosecutors say wiretaps show Blagojevich said in several cases that he wanted campaign funds and cash up front, a high-paid nonprofit job for himself or one for his wife on corporate boards in exchange for the seat. Prosecutors say the president-elect had nothing to do with the case, and Obama himself made this statement.
I had no contact with the governor or his office.
The federal complaint also alleges Blagojevich wanted the Chicago Tribune to fire some editorial board members critical of him in return for help selling Wrigley Field, which is owned by the Tribune Company. The senior Illinois senator is calling for a different means to fill the Senate vacancy.
If the allegations, and I read them this morning, in the criminal complaint against Governor Blagojevich are proven true, he has clearly abused the public trust. I think the Illinois General Assembly should enact a law as quickly as possible, calling for a special election to fill the Senate vacancy of Barack Obama.
Blagojevich appeared in a Chicago courtroom Tuesday afternoon and is now out on bail. In Washington, Sandra Endo for CNN Student News.
Meanwhile, Bank of America is offering a loan to Republic Windows and Doors to help resolve a protest that started after the company shut down recently. As we've reported, Republic employees took over the factory after they were laid off with very little notice. That happened when Bank of America closed off the company's line of credit. Well, late yesterday, all sides were discussing the details of the loan.
See if you can ID me. I'm a European nation that's made up of more than 2,000 islands. I'm located on the Balkan Peninsula, bordering the Aegean, Ionian, and Mediterranean seas. My capital, Athens, is often referred to as the birthplace of democracy. I'm Greece, and I'm home to more than 10.5 million people.
Thousands of those people are clashing with Greek police as protests rage across the European nation. The violence stretched into its fourth day Tuesday as the teenager at the center of it all was laid to rest. Law enforcement officials say the 15-year-old was shot by police after he and other protesters threw stones at a patrol car. The unrest that's followed has sparked criticism of the Greek government, which is speaking out against the violent riots. Switching gears now, with it being flu season, you can probably think of some ways that illnesses get passed around. Someone sneezes near you, maybe you touch something that's covered in germs. But don't think we can only get sick from other people. Animals can also pass along viruses and diseases to humans, and some of those can be deadly. If you've ever gotten sick from something you ate, you might have picked up a zoonotic disease. It could be in the form of salmonella, a fever, food poisoning. As long as people have been hunting wildlife for food, they've been at risk for contracting zoonotic diseases. Today, this risk is especially high in developing countries. Lack of education and proper cleaning are some reasons why. And bushmeat, like chimpanzees, hunted for food in parts of Africa, may be more dangerous because chimps are genetically closer to humans than other animals used for food. But zoonotic diseases aren't limited to the animals or animal products we eat. They're defined as any kind of disease that can be transmitted between animals and people. So rabies and malaria, diseases you can catch from animal bites, are also examples.
We know a lot about how to treat zoonotic diseases, and many can be cured. But predicting where and how they'll break out, as far as some scientists are concerned, is impossible.
That report is part of Planet in Peril Battle Lines. The documentary examines the conflicts between growing populations and natural resources, and it premieres this Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern on CNN. We've also put together learning activities and discussion questions to go along with the program. Watch for those in the Spotlight section on CNNStudentNews.com.
Time for the shout-out. Which of these jobs earns a mean income of at least $60,000 per year? If you think you know it, shout it out. Is it architect, pediatric nurse, seismologist, or web developer? You've got 3 seconds. Go! Trick question. According to CareerBuilder.com, they all earn at least that much. That's your answer, and that's your shout-out.
Just to compare, the national mean income is a little less than $41,000 per year, so those industries are looking pretty good and pretty safe. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, they're all expected to grow over the next 8 years. And of course, with the economy struggling and job losses on the rise, Alan Chernoff explores the benefits of job security.
Hi, Peppy.
Maria Tessanari changed careers to become a nurse, knowing that in her new profession, she'd be marketable no matter how bad the economy.
I knew that I would graduate and have a job, and all my friends who I graduated nursing school with all have jobs.
Even during the worst recession in decades, healthcare professions added 34,000 positions last month, while the economy was losing more than 500,000 jobs. An important reason more Americans are following Maria's example.
Columbia has a program specifically designed for career changers, and we've seen that program become more competitive every year. This year it was a huge increase. In November, over November applications, they were up 50%.
To meet demand for nursing education, Columbia is hiring instructors. Many other universities are hiring in spite of the recession, because in tough economic times, many people go back to school to boost their skills. In fact, some for-profit schools are thriving. The stock of education company Apollo Group has climbed 60% in the past 6 months, while the Dow Industrial Average was plummeting. Beyond education, other fields are still seeing job growth. Computer systems design, management and technology consulting, oil and gas drilling and logging. Accounting and financial analysis also remain in demand.
It will almost create more opportunity in the analysis, budgeting, and forecasting area when times are tougher, because people are watching every dollar that much more closely. So there's certainly opportunity that does get created.
Alan Chernoff, CNN, New York.
You're very welcome. Myron Roll had a choice between a Rhodes Scholarship and entering the NFL draft right out of college. Marty would take the scholarship. We need more doctors, and who knows, Roll might find a cure for a sickness. But Tripp says, I would go straight to the NFL. I would rather make a tackle than to pick at someone's brain. Gracie would go to Oxford and on the side play football, then join the NFL. Because the stuff you learn in college, she says, lasts a lot longer than your football career. Bubbles writes, all I'm going to say is NFL. On the quirky questions being asked to Oxbridge applicants, Holly says the universities want people who can think outside the box when asked to. But Scarlett says they sound like questions you would ask at a party when there's nothing else to do. And then there's Miss Langley's 7th grade geography class saying, Carl, we think you're quirky. Yeah, like I've never heard that before. But you can log on to our blog from A to Z to share your comments. And before we go today, what does a $140,000 toilet look like? Pretty much the same as any other. So why are people lining up to see this public porta potty's first flush? Well, assuming they're not waiting to use it, it's probably because this lucrative loo is powered by the sun. That is why the price tag is so high. Portland officials plan to market the technological toilets to other cities and end up flush with cash. Well, that'll put a lid on today's show. You guys have a great one.